As anime series are exported from Japan, so are the games based on them, usually at the same time. The games are more often than not poor adaptations, and Naruto typically is no exception. Adding to the intrigue, Naruto Rise of the Ninja is an Xbox 360 exclusive and an anime game for a system that is bombed in Japan. Designed with the Western player in mind, it's intent on breaking conventions. But does it deliver some true ninja magic, or is it all mere deception? Based on the popular Japanese series of the same name, Naruto Rise of a Ninja traces the origins of Naruto Uzumaki, a delinquent ninja in training. The simple-minded shinobi's got a simple goal in mind, to be the very best. Try as he might though, the guy just can't seem to catch a break. Aside from being on the cusp of failing ninja school, Naruto also happens to be the carrier of a sealed fox demon responsible for devastating the village years before. It's a secret that everybody knows but him, and it hasn't exactly made him Mr. Popular around town. To win their trust back, Naruto does everything in his power to become a strong and respectable ninja, even if it means roundhousing trash cans for coins. For covering the first few significant story arcs in the series, the game does well in barreling through the key plot points with choice cuts from the animated series worked in with the gameplay. Fans familiar with Naruto's later conquests won't find themselves too bored of the old ground that the game paces through here, though newcomers may find the abridged narrative a bit too brisk for their liking.
He's the same as me!
Story mode is the game's central feature, which takes Naruto across a thriving recreation of his village. It's here that Naruto's path is laid out through various missions peppered around town. If the words Grand Theft Naruto come to mind, you wouldn't be missing the mark by that much. Rather than terrorizing the Leaf Village's hapless denizens, you'll find yourself helping them out in various odd jobs that in turn benefit your rise to glory in the ninja community. Gathering funds for the down-and-out ramen shop owner, for instance, gives a small boost to your experience, as well as letting you purchase ramen to go for those hungry moments on the battlefield.
Ramen is the best!
Appease enough villagers, and word of your good deeds will spread around town, with the changing temperament of the people acting as a barometer for your overall progress through the game. The open-ended town and mission template is becoming something of a cliché these days. But Rise of a Ninja manages to eke out an experience by using design choices that stick close to the source material. Many of the tasks and training expeditions that Naruto undergoes ring true to events that play out in the series, and his village, with all of its terraces and alleyways, is a delight to explore. At crucial junctions in the storyline, Naruto and his team are sent out on missions outside of the village, where the game veers towards a platforming style of play. The feel of these sections are reminiscent of a simplified version of Prince of Persia, complete with bits of leaping, ledge grabbing, and perilous spiky objects. The levels aren't all that complicated, but there's a good amount of explorative backtracking to go through in order to collect everything.
Healing palm jutsu!
One of the most creative applications of the series is in its set of jutsus, or ninja powers. These unique abilities are executed by replicating patterns on the analog sticks that mimic hand gestures used in the series. One of the first jutsus you'll learn is the Shadow Clone, a barrier-breaking ability. Later on, you'll learn Chakra Concentration, which grants an increased level of mobility across vertical levels and water.
Shadow Clone Jutsu!
Pulling off and controlling jutsus is a blast, though most of the guesswork is eliminated by clear indications of which ones to use. The game's obviously geared towards kids, so it won't be as enjoyable for some of the older Naruto fans out there. Rise of a Ninja's respect for the source material is also evident in its online component, which allows for downloadable goodies including supplementary character and voice packs to liven up the base gaming experience. Fan favorites like Shikamaru are one of the few to pop up as bonus content on the marketplace, as well as the option to download Japanese voice tracks for the game. On top of that, the game also supports head-to-head play via Xbox Live using the game's fighting engine.
Like that?
Naruto's citrus-colored jumpsuit must really tick off other ninjas, because he's constantly ambushed by them. It's here that the game enters a fighting mode, and Naruto throws down mano a mano against an opponent. While the game's fighting mode is accessible enough to be played as a button masher, there are still a fair amount of options present, making it a reasonably deep fighting game. If you play how the game wants you to play, then the key strategy is pushing the opponent far away enough with a decisive combo to pull off a jutsu. If all else fails, Rage Mode throws caution to the wind with a temporary boost of invincibility to beat on your opponent with impunity. If you do happen to properly execute a jutsu, the game enters an interactive QuickTime event where the recipient still has a chance at deflecting the attack. These segments run the gamut from God of War style button presses and analog stick matching to target hitting and dodging. What the fighting game lacks in depth, it makes up for in fidelity. Each of the character's signature moves translate well into jutsus used in battle, such as Neiji's 88 Palms jutsu, which has players striking the chakra points located on the opponent's body using the analog stick. Even various ninja quirks like the kunai and substitution jutsu make their way into the system. It's no virtual fighter, but it's unique and fun enough that players will find it easy to choose a favorite between all of the cast's unique combos and abilities. While the fighting game stands as a robust multiplayer offering, its implementation in the story mode lacks some pizzazz. For a large chunk of the game, you'll be fighting generic bandits out in the wild and far too often. And by the time you get to tangle with key players later on in the game, the story mode will already be close to drawing the final curtain. Ubisoft Montreal has done exceptional work on the game's graphics, which use cel-shaded objects mixed with gorgeous backgrounds. Certain angles reveal a few unsightly textures here and there, but for the most part, the graphics shine. More impressive are the fighting animations and cutscenes, which hit the nail on the head by capturing the look and feel of the series. Rise of a Ninja also uses the show's pool of talent and resources to deliver a cohesive experience directly in line with the anime. Though the standard definition clips from the show look a bit shabby in HD, re-recorded lines of dialogue and use of the show's soundtrack even out whatever few rough edges the game has in its presentation.
Hey!
Out of my way, you worthless little shrimp.
Naruto Rise of a Ninja is not one of the best ninja games to hit the market, but it is one of the best anime-based games ever released. Those with even a remote interest in the series should pick it up. For everyone else, take this ninja for a test mission to find out if it belongs in your dojo.